Welcome back. It's Niesha Davis here, LCSW, and this is Motivational Masterpiece, where you are on a journey to becoming the master of your own peace of mind. I am a therapist. However, this is not a substitute for therapy. If you are in need of a therapist, I encourage you to get some help. It's okay not to be okay. And if you need a therapist, there are so many platforms that are available for you to find a therapist that is the best fit for you. Again, it's okay not to be okay. So I encourage you to get the help that you need. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe today. Like this video, share it with a friend, as you will not be disappointed. Today, I just want to speak to those of you who feel broken today. Those of you who feel defeated, who feel damaged, who feel left alone. Those of you who feel like the weight of the world are on your shoulder. Those of you who feel like you lost your best friend. Those of you who are struggling with the relationship. Those of you who are dealing with grief and loss today. Those of you who are damaged by a traumatic incident that happened to you. Whether it was in your childhood or whether it has been as an adult, I am here to speak to you today. To those of you who feel broken from a situation that happened to you. Those of you who feel left for dead. Those of you who feel that life did not deal you a good hand. I am here to speak to you today. And I am here to tell you to keep fighting. Don't give up. Fight from your place of brokenness. I know that in this state, you might feel weak. You might feel alone. You may feel like you don't have the strength to even go from day to day. However, I want to encourage you and let you know that in those moments of weakness is when you are really strong. And the reason being is because in this moment of weakness is when you begin to find your strength. You begin to see that you are a lot stronger than what you thought you are. The Bible tells us that in our weakness, we are made strong. And that's because we have God to give us the strength that we need. This is the prime time for Him to shine. This is the prime time for Him to reveal Himself to us like never before. When we feel like all hope is gone, when we feel like everything has been lost, when we feel like we are at the end of our rope, this is the prime time for God to show His mighty right hand and show Himself strong in our lives. Whatever the situation may be, this is God's opportunity to reach out to us and to show us who He is. I have been in a state of brokenness before, and I know how it feels to feel left alone, to feel like you've made so many mistakes and you don't know how to recover from them. To feel as if you have been left for dead. To feel as if you have been trying to do everything in your power that you know how to do, but the situation just won't change. I have been there in a state of desperation of where I had to get on my knees and cry out to God and plead to Him and say, God, help me. Help me. I don't know what else to do. If you don't show up, then I'm going to fall out. And in that moment, when I was in my place of desperation, is exactly when God showed up for me. During a broken state, we become vulnerable to a lot of different things, a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions that we may not even know how to describe completely. However, in our state of brokenness, we need to learn to be vulnerable, allow ourselves to let go and let God. Allow ourselves to put pride to the side and admit the things that we've done wrong. We need to be in a vulnerable state and allow ourselves to be honest with ourselves and to tell ourselves, yes, this is what happened to me. This was not fair. I don't like it. This was not my fault. And I don't understand. Be honest. Be vulnerable with yourself. Be present with whatever you are feeling, because you will not begin to heal until you admit whatever the situation is, till you name it for what it is, and then you allow yourself to begin to be broken even more. Allow yourself to submit to whatever that brokenness may be. If it was a damaged relationship, sit back and allow yourself to see the things that you contributed to the relationship, as well as allow the things that you didn't contribute to the relationship. Process those things in your mind and begin to be present with those feelings and emotions. If it was hurt, if it was shame, if it was guilt, whatever it may be, allow yourself to be broken with whatever that feeling in that situation that you are dealing with. Allow yourself to be broken. Put pride to the side. Put unforgiveness to the side. Put your stubborn self and your stubborn will to the side and begin to heal. You will not begin to heal until you are honest with yourself, until you admit everything in that situation that is applicable to you. Begin to heal. Be honest. Allow yourself to know that I was violated. This was not my fault. I didn't ask for this to be happen to me. And this hurt me. This made me angry. This made me mad at the world. This made me not trust people. Admit what it is. Admit how it made you feel and begin to heal from it. Forgive yourself. Forgive somebody else and begin to move on. Begin to allow yourself to be broken so that you can be built back up. Sometimes it takes for us to be broken all the way down to the ground to humble ourselves, to see ourselves and to see things for what it really is. Sometimes we need to be torn down to be built back up and be the stronger person that we weren't before. Sometimes we need this. We need to be made over. We need to be restored. We need to be renewed. We need to be set free. And sometimes this will not happen until we are broken, until we find a place of desperation, until we get to that place of desperation and begin to cry out to God for help, for knowledge, for direction, for strength, for the source of energy and strength that we need that can only come from Him. As I talk to you about fighting from a place of brokenness, I'm reminded of the story of Hannah in the Bible, how Hannah so desired to have a child. She was married to Elkanah, and Elkanah had a second wife, Peninnah, who was able to bear children and was able to have multiple children. And every chance Peninnah got, she threw this up in Hannah's face. So I can imagine Hannah in her state of desperation, how she was crushed, how she was damaged and wounded because she couldn't have a child from her husband, the man that she loved, the man that favored her, even in the midst of her not being able to have a child. And then to have the other woman, Peninnah, basically rubbing it in her face. I can imagine how she felt. But it wasn't until Hannah got to a state of desperation where she began to cry out to God and she began to plead to God and express her feelings to God from her broken place. She began to tell God her situation. Even though He knows and even though He knew what her situation is, she began to tell Him how she felt and how the situation made her feel. And it wasn't until this state of desperation where she cried out to God from everything within her and let Him know how she felt that God heard her and reached out to her. Now, in Hannah's mind, she felt like all hope was gone. However, God had already had a plan. Even before she cried out to Him, He had already had a plan to reveal Himself to her. And in Hannah's state of desperation was the prime time to show Himself strong, to show Himself who He was, to show Hannah who He was. So I'm saying this to say this to you, that sometimes it takes us to get to a place of desperation when we feel like all hope is gone, when we feel like we can't go on, when we feel like life has handed us a bad hand because of whatever the situation we may be in. It's not until we get in this place of desperation where we need to be torn down to be built up. where we need to begin to trust God with every situation in our life, to trust Him with all of our hearts, and to lean not to our own understanding, but to acknowledge Him in all of our ways, and He will direct our paths. So I encourage you today, don't let pride get in the way. Don't let unforgiveness get in the way. Don't let your selfish, stubborn will get in the way. But begin to surrender to your state of brokenness. Begin to allow yourself to be broke down, to be built back up. Cry if you must. Whatever you may do, process this. Talk to yourself. Write it out. Talk to somebody. Talk to a friend. But again, to allow yourself to be broken. Broken to be built back up. Broken to find your strength to keep moving, to be restored, to be renewed, to be set free. So I want you today to take a moment, think about it. Think about whatever the situation may be that have caused you to be broken, to be damaged, to be wounded, to be hurt, to be disappointed, to be embarrassed. Whatever the situation may be, I challenge you today. Think about it. And in your state of hurt, in your state of brokenness, begin to submit to the brokenness so that you can heal, so that you can be built back up. I know it's hard when you've been wounded. I know it's hard when you've been damaged. However, there is hope. You can get through this. You have the strength to get through this. You have the strength to rise again. You have been beautifully and wonderfully made in the eyes of God. And you are strong, stronger than what you believe. In your moment of weakness is where your strength is. So keep fighting. Don't give up. Keep moving. Keep pressing on. Keep leaning to God and not leaning to yourself. Speak life to yourself because you got this. You can do it. Fight from your place of brokenness. I'm here to support you. I've been there. I know how it feels, and it doesn't feel good. But if you give up, then you can't fight. But if you keep fighting, your strength will come. Allow it to come. You got this. You can do this. Life is not fair. Things happen and we don't understand. We lose loved ones and we lose our family a lot of times very much too soon, sooner than we want, sooner than what we expected. However, don't allow that to allow you to be sad and broken, but allow that to allow yourself to be built up. You can do it. You got this. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it with a friend. We are on this journey together to becoming the master of our own peace of minds through motivation, gaining the strength and tools that we need to keep going and keep fighting every day. Today, I might be strong. Tomorrow, I may not. And I need someone to keep pushing me, keep encouraging me, keep telling me that I can do this and that I got this. And I am here to do that for you today. So until next time, fight from your place of brokenness. Keep moving because you got this.